Good afternoon, greater Philadelphia area. This is Toole Time Real Estate Radio on WWDB 860 AM. I'm Tom Toole. She's Sarah Timon. We both work at the Tom Toole Sales Group at RE/MAX Mainline, the number one RE/MAX team in Pennsylvania since 2018. And last week, we saw President Trump speak at the World Economic Forum, and housing came up. Very unique. I don't know if that might be the first time that's happened. Rocket Mortgage got slapped with a class action lawsuit, and there's a lesson here for agents and for consumers. I'd be very clear about that. And we also saw home buyers cancel agreements at the highest rate ever in December, according to Redfin. We've got some plans finally being revealed for the Crozier Hospital in Upland Township, Upland Borough, a new luxury development in Radnor, and the Limerick land swap. It's getting a little heated. We'll talk about it all next. So if you get some value out of this or you like what you hear, make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications. And if you want to schedule a call with Sarah and figure out what all this stuff means in regards to your real estate plans, you can do that with the link right in the comments. So, Sarah, I'm not sure if you watched the World Economic Forum. I did not.
No.
I think there was like a time delay, right? It's like the Olympics. Very unique that last Wednesday, right after our show here, President Trump used a portion of the speech to share his views on housing affordability in the U.S. And I was really surprised to see that being brought up on the world stage. And it was kind of more of the same when we talked about these plans about the $200 billion in mortgage-backed securities being purchased, the ban on institutional investors. Are you shocked to see that the president of the U.S. is actually talking about this on a global level? I mean, what's your reaction to this before we get into some of the details here?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm not surprised, but I don't know that it like really means much, you
Sure.
know? Like, I think that he, will say what he wants to say when he wants to say it, whether
Okay.
or not it like necessarily, like, I don't, even if it like made sense for the world stage or not to hear what he was talking about. So I don't know that it like has a major impact on, what happens next.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. When you dive into this plan here, we actually just put a whole video together about this because there's all these plans that are out there. I look at this as it's probably a marketing ploy. We've got a midterm election coming up, and housing is a very hot button issue right now for a lot of people. So I'm clear that's one of the reasons why. There might be, kind of an economic symbol here that it is a personal milestone to buy a home, and home ownership means a lot to a lot of people. It's a signal of whether the economy's working. So I like that he's talking about that when it comes to like the U.S. society or like the American dream, because it's kind of been ignored in the past, especially with all the economic stuff going on. So I thought it was interesting. Some of these ideas, I'm not too keen on them. So we already talked about the ban on institutional home buyers. I'm not going to go through that again. He mentioned something about credit card debt. So tell me what you think about this, because this is interesting, and I'll give you my reaction in a second. He talked about housing affordability related to consumer debt, which that goes hand in. I mean, you know how people get qualified. They look at their debt to income ratios. And he said that high interest credit card balances make it harder for households to save for a down payment, even when incomes are stable. And he said he's asking Congress to temporarily drop credit card interest rates and cap them at 10% for 1 year. These are usually like 28 to 32%. And he's saying it'll help millions of people save for a home. What do you think about this kind of policy being introduced? I mean, he's asking Congress to do it. Who knows if any of this stuff gets passed, because it's all got to be partisan related. This is interesting here.
Yeah, I mean, I think if they were able to reduce the interest on credit cards, because a lot of people do carry balances there, it could bring a large pocket of savings to consumers. Once that balance starts to get up there and the interest rates being as high as they are, it can be hard to work them back down again. So that certainly could provide some relief for people. And I guess particularly for individuals that their debt to income ratio is off, they're not able to qualify for some of the different loans. If they were able to get that paid down a little bit more and get that a little bit more under control, certainly that would be helpful. But like you said, I don't know the likelihood of that being able to go through. And then will that actually transfer over to like savings for homes? Who knows?
I think this is a horrible idea. I mean, you're giving it like very like partisan, like, hey, could help. These people spent this money on something knowing what the terms are, and then we're going to say, hey, it's okay. You don't have to save your money anymore. I mean, there's a savings problem in the U.S. right now where if you look at the data that's there through 2025, the average household saved like 4.4 to 4.55% of their income. A healthy savings rate is typically like 10 to 20%.
Right.
So this to me is almost no different than like, did you have to take out student loans when
I took out? Yeah, I took out some.
So did I, and I paid them back.
Yeah.
But then there was that policy like, hey, we're going to forgive all the student loan. Well, wait a minute, like, how come we had to pay our loans
right.
and other people don't? And I think this is kind of the same thing. And I don't know that the people that have monster credit card debt are the same ones buying houses in a lot of cases.
Right.
So I mean, this is the kind of stuff that, like, yeah, it sounds good. I think it's a good marketing ploy with the midterm election coming up. I don't like this. I don't think this is healthy for.
But like, who sets the rates for credit cards? Like, I don't know that the credit card companies would.
Oh, yeah. So they do. Yeah. I mean, you sign a contract with them when you
right.
sign up. So it's like, now we're just going to throw this contract out, and it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Like, yeah, sure, that could help, but I don't think the people racking up major credit card debt are the same ones buying houses. I mean, that's just the reality. So, this is the kind of stuff like, yeah, it's cool. He talked about this at the World Economic Forum. This is a horrible idea.
Yeah.
I think this could, and then like, there's no way the banks are going to agree to all that.
Right. Well, and then I'm only bringing this up because he talked about it on like the world stage. Are credit card interest rates in the U.S. substantially higher than those around the world?
That I don't know. And this is one of the ideas. I don't even know how that works. Let's look this up here and check this out. So, U.S. credit card rates average 19 to 20%. The highest often see 30% with people with lower credit scores. Let's see, they have interchange fees in Europe, and they're heavily regulated. They have a 0.3% cap in the EU. And then in some nations, credit card interest rates can be over 200% annually.
Oh my gosh.
So I mean, the whole point is though, like, that's what you agreed to. And I think that there's a major problem there. So that was one of the things that he brought up. Then he talked about, but then like, here's the problem with this. He said, well, hey, I want to do all this stuff to make homes more affordable. But then the statement of, I'm very protective of people that already own a home, of which we have millions and millions, because we've had such a good run. House values have gone up tremendously. These people have become wealthy. They weren't wealthy before. If you wanted to crush the housing market, he would talk about doing some things fast so people could buy houses. But like, he doesn't want people's home values to go down, but he wants them to become more affordable. Like, it doesn't work that way.
Right.
So like, I like that he talked about this, but I would be very hesitant if you're a buyer listening to this stuff and thinking like the president's going to wave some magic wand here with policy, and all of a sudden the market's going to change. I mean, is that fair to say?
Yes.
So how do you deal with this with consumers? Like, they hear all this stuff. Well, there's some federal policies that are going to help me afford another home. I should wait. What's that kind of conversation like? Because there's always these people that are waiting for something to happen that probably won't. And this stuff can be dangerous for consumers.
Well, I mean, I guess I would want to know, like, how long would you be willing to wait to see if this happens or doesn't happen? Because stuff often doesn't, just you snap your fingers and there you go. So, are you willing to have months and months and months pass by just to see if this thing even becomes anything? And then you just want to bring it back to like what the knowns are, like what, have you spoken to a lender yet? What do you have saved up? What does a affordable monthly payment look like for you? And just kind of break it down into terms of, there could always be something on the horizon that could be beneficial. But until it actually exists or is a thing, it doesn't do you any good. So let's work with what we've got during the time being, and we'll monitor.
I love that you're talking about controlling the controllables, like you deal in known quantities, because all this is so uncertain right now.
Right.
And look, the reality is you got a Republican House, you got a Democratic Senate. I mean, they're not going to agree on anything.
No.
I mean, it's going to take forever. And it's great in theory to have all these things. I mean, even with the $200 billion in mortgage-backed securities, we've seen rates jump up since that announcement from like 5.99 to like 6.162. So I don't see that changing anytime soon here, and I think that's really important to realize. So I wouldn't waste too much time on this. If you're a consumer, I'd be real like it's great. This could be happening, but we could be years out from any of this actually
Right.
getting passed. So now when you talk about consumers controlling the controllables, I think that there's something a lesson that can be learned here. There was an article that got dropped yesterday that Rocket Company. So you're familiar with Rocket Mortgage, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's your reaction to Rocket Mortgage before we even get into the article here? What do you think? What are consumers' reactions?
So, I mean, I know for me, if I'm representing a seller and if an offer comes in and I look through and I see that their lender is Rocket, that's something I would go back to the agent, the buyer's agent with, and be like, hey, like, why?
Yeah.
Can we do something else?
So I think they have that sort of reputation that because there's so many people working on it, they don't close on time. Like, I mean, they fund a lot of loans. Don't get me wrong. They don't close on time. They promise one thing, don't always come through on it. They have the fees change pretty consistently. So that's their reputation, right, wrong, or otherwise. That's what a lot of people think. And they now got slapped with a class action lawsuit alleging that the Rocket companies, this is different because remember, Rocket just bought Redfin in 2025. So they have a Rocket Homes real estate arm. They have a bunch of affiliates here with Rocket Mortgage. So that the whole company, the parent company here, got hit with a class action lawsuit on Monday that accuses them of steering consumers to their loan products. And even though Rocket Mortgage's terms are disadvantageous to clients, exactly what we had kind of talked about. This was filed in the Eastern District of Michigan, but there was actually one of the plaintiffs is from Pennsylvania,
Okay.
and basically what they said is that the Rocket Homes website utilized a vast referral network to connect prospective home buyers with third-party real estate agents who were required to pay a referral fee and steer clients to Rocket Mortgage. And basically the short of it was that they had to do that, or they wouldn't be eligible for their referrals. That's kind of the short of it here. What do you think about this? I mean, this is a pretty serious lawsuit here, and there's a lesson for consumers when you're in the real estate market. But I mean, what do you think's happening with this lawsuit before we get into some of the details?
Yeah, I mean, I guess is it that they only are able to get the referrals if they not only like suggest Rocket as one of several lenders to reach out to, or is it like specifically like they only want you using that one?
Here's what the complaint said. This is all alleged,
Okay.
by the way, so we don't get sued.
Sure.
In exchange for these leads, agents were required to steer clients to Rocket Mortgage LLC and away from other mortgage providers, all in violation of real estate agents' fiduciary duties to clients.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, I think, Rocket wouldn't be the only company out there that has multiple products that they want people to use all in-house, right? So if it was something where you were like, hey, this is one option for you, here's another lender, talk to all three and see who you feel most comfortable with, then I feel like that kind of, makes it a little bit more okay. If it's like, here, this is the lender. Oh, you didn't like them? I don't have anybody else to recommend for you. Or if you've known that you've had issues with that lender and you're still like pushing people towards them, that's just a problem for everybody.
The complaint goes on to say that Rocket charges these third-party agents a higher referral fee if these agents do not steer their clients to Rocket Mortgage. All of this conduct is textbook steering. And this is all alleged in the complaint. I want to just say that a couple times here. And Sarah, you hit the nail on the head. I mean, there are legal RESPA compliant co-marketing agreements that are out there where, people can work the leads. we always recommend referring out multiple lenders to our clients that we know can help people that have a good track record. Sometimes they come in, they already got their lender. I'm like, great. If you want a second opinion here, we have a disclosure that says you're not bound to work with anybody. We just refer people out that have given our close clients, our past clients, a great experience. So you got to be very careful with that. Now, a lot of agents, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if this happened. To be honest with you, I mean, I don't think that this is that far off. I don't know the details of any of this, but a lot of agents, they always say things like, "Hey, here's my lender," like they own the person or
Right,
something,
right,
or this is the best person you need to refer. That's not how you want your agent counseling you. I mean, you
right,
said it again, so just walk through like what that conversation's like when someone comes in and needs financing guidance, because you deal with it all the time,
right.
and there's people you're going to refer out because they do a good job and they do right by clients. How do you couch that? Because I think this is something that if you're hearing this as a consumer, I would like run away from an agent that says, hey, like here's my lender, here's who you got to use, like all that sort of nonsense.
Right. I mean, I think there are so many details and intricacies that go into your specific loan and your specific situation and your finances. So I always, I can give broad strokes on some of this as I'm talking to clients,
Mm-hmm.
but then I always let them know that like you need to talk to a lender. Like they're going to be the ones that are going to be able to fully break this down, give you the exact details. And then I typically, you know, like to offer out a few
Mm-hmm.
and have them kind of vet them. I'm not going to recommend anybody that I wouldn't myself go to. So there are in my book all good
Mm-hmm.
qualified lenders. So it's not like I'm giving like two good ones and a bad one and being like, hey, you figure out which one's which.
Yeah.
Like it's all people that I've worked with and trust. But from there, I do advise. I'm like talk to both if I give them two, or
Mm-hmm.
talk to all three if I give them all three, and that it's worth spending those, I don't know, 10 minutes on the phone with each of them just to kind of start figuring out what is what. And you can pretty quickly tell who knows what they're talking about, even if you don't know, you know what I mean? Because like you're going into this as a consumer that maybe that isn't doing this all of the time. But you can get a feel pretty quickly as you just ask some basic questions if the lender is able to answer them, explain it in terms that aren't like at such a high level that it's like you could be telling me anything right now. Like you want to be explained in a way that makes sense. So and different lenders do offer different types of um programs. They can do different things to kind of like customize
Mm-hmm.
things for you. So which lender may be best for client A may not be best for client B. So so I like to give them multiple options there so that they can figure out who's going to work best for them.
I could not agree with you more. And it's always a list that like you got to earn your place
Mhm.
on the referral list. I mean, in
Because
my view.
the last thing, regardless of like if it's lender or anybody else, the last thing you want is to have a client be like, "Hey, I talked to your guy and man, they really messed up,"
Mm-hmm.
or like that's not. And I think if you've been doing this long enough, at some point
It
it
happens.
happens, and you feel awful, So, but especially with like the lending side of things, you want to make sure you're giving options for people that have really come through.
Well, and everyone's financial situation can be different. There's a big difference between, someone that's W-2'd and salaried versus an independent contractor. You know what that's like. So do I. If you're getting a construction loan versus a regular loan, depending on what your asset holdings are. I mean, there's so many variables that's why you want to talk to people that have a large product base. And if this company is doing that sort of thing, I mean, it's you don't even get a choice. And we've all seen the lenders that like they're charging astronomical fees. Like, yeah, they beat the rate by like an eighth of a point, but they got all these extra fees layered on
Mhm.
there, and folks don't really understand that. So,
And you're like earlier on, before you get under contract, and then for typically like the contract reads for 7 days after getting under contract, if you're on the purchase side, you still can
mhm,
shop for a lender. So I think it also works in your favor to let them know I am talking to other lenders. I feel
yeah,
like that maybe makes some of those line items that can go away go away,
hmm,
and it lets them know that you know you're shopping around.
I want our lenders to compete with each other to
Mhm.
win business for the client. If I ever hear a lender say, I'm not making enough money on this, I said, well, it doesn't look like you're going to be working with us much longer, because that's the complete opposite of putting the client interest first. And that's obviously what this lawsuit's all about. So it's not so much about the lawsuit. It's more about, is your agent guiding you the right way?
Right.
And there's so many agents, you've heard them. Well, this is my lender. Well, like, do you own the company? Like, what are we talking about here? You
Right.
mentioned the experience with a bad referral. So you give out someone's information, totally screw up. It's happened to me.
Mhm.
How do you handle that with your business? I'll share what I do, but I'm curious if how you've handled that in the past.
I mean, I usually just apologize and say I won't be referring that person out to
Yeah.
anyone else.
Yes. That partner, they're dead. They're never getting another piece of business from, or unless there's something that happened, because there's usually two sides to every story.
Sure.
Uh, there have been instances where, I hear things going on. It's clear what happens, and like, not calling people back, like, you're out, like
Yeah.
that's not going to fly. So I would be very careful for all the agents listening who you are referring out, because it reflects poorly on you if that's the case.
Right.
I mean, that's the reality. So whatever you're doing as a real estate agent, and for consumers, if you're not getting multiple options, that's something that's important. And I tell everyone, I can't guarantee these people work,
Right.
or what are the results. I can't guarantee the results. I can, put you in touch with more folks, like you said, and that's why it's important to have a good list of referral partners, because agents get asked this stuff like all the time.
Right. Right.
One more piece of news here, and Sarah, I'm curious your take on this. Kind of, you're kind of getting back into the swing of things, coming back from maternity leave. So, in the month of December, this was not surprising when I looked at it. Looking back on the month, but I was a little shocked that 40,000 U.S. home purchase agreements were canceled in December. 16.3% of all the homes that went under contract. That's up from 14.9% year ago, and is the highest December rate in records dating back to 2017. Are you shocked by this? I mean, are you seeing some uncertainty in the market? I mean, obviously, certain states are going to have higher cancellation rates than others. This is something we actually track. So, when you hear this number, is that surprising to you?
It is a little bit surprising. I mean, I think there's always, that there's going to be some, termination of contracts. I'm wondering, like, would it have anything to do, and this is just me kind of like spinning my wheels here,
Sure.
but one of the biggest things that can be like a cost that it can tack one pretty quickly is HVAC. And in the
Hmm.
extreme, like, cold conditions that we've been having, I'm wondering if maybe some things fell apart with like mechanicals and like couldn't come to
Could
terms
be.
on that. I don't know.
So they don't have that data. What the Redfin report did say, that high housing costs and rising inventory have made home buyers more selective. Now, if you look at these numbers here, and you can actually toggle them between the lowest cancellation rate and the highest. So Philadelphia was at a 13.6% cancellation rate. The lowest number was Nassau County in, like, Long Island. That
Okay.
was 3.8%. Montgomery County, for whatever reason, Redfin always separates Montgomery County from Philadelphia, but they don't look at the other counties. Like, why? I mean, it's probably the most populous of the four counties outside. But then you go to some other markets, and you're seeing like 22.5% in Atlanta, 20.6% in San Antonio. Looks like a lot of the Sun Belt states had the higher cancellations. So I would be a little careful reading this headline here. Now, there was a jump from 12.9% in December of 2024 to 13.6 in 2025 for Philadelphia, and 9.7 to 10.5 in Montgomery County. So there was a rise there. Um, I do see that when there's a little more inventory and a little more on, like, options, people do tend to blow out of sales a little more often, and sometimes it's to
Sure.
go buy another house.
Yeah.
Do you think this means anything for the market moving forward as we wrap up January and heading into February here?
I don't think so. I mean, I think you kind of have to take everything with a grain of salt.
Hmm.
Like, there always will be, for many different reasons, a certain percentage of deals are going to terminate. Whether that's cold feet or financing or, a problem with the home.
Hmm.
So I don't think that overall you would be able to expect, if there was a house that you were interested in that and it goes under contract, that it's going to come back to the market. It's possible, but I wouldn't
Hmm.
like hold your breath for that.
Yeah, and you talked earlier about dealing with known quantities. That to me is if you find a home that works for you, you can be there in the next 5 years, and you can afford the payment. I wouldn't start looking around for anything else. I mean, you want to monitor that while you have the ability to get out of the sale.
Right.
And I've seen buyers do this where you
Yeah.
like work on a negotiation and like everything's getting signed or there's a verbal and you're there
And then they're like, oh, let me go see this other house.
And to me, the best thing now, if you're the buyer's agent, I'd go show them the other house. I would just say, let's look at this and let's decide one way or the other.
Yeah.
If I'm the seller's agent and I get that phone call, I'd probably let it play out before I start raising red flags. You don't know what's going to happen. I mean, and a lot of the times, these are the same people that looked at like 20, 30 plus homes. I'm a big believer, like you said, looking in all your options. So I would go look at that home just to make sure one way or the other. And when inventory rises, there are going to be more of those options coming out. But I mean, rising costs. I mean, rising inventory. That's been like this for a while, and occasionally you will see these spikes when cancellations reach this sort of rate nationally. We saw a 16.3% cancellation rate in March 2020.
Mm-hmm.
I think you know what happened there.
Yeah.
The pandemic. October 2022, we we're at 15.99. That's when rates hit 8%. October 23, rates spiked again. They were at 15.75%. So this is going to happen when there's times of uncertainty here. And I think there was a lot of questions at the end of the year about what the Fed was going to do and their plans. And, Jerome Powell has a tendency to do one thing with the policy and then say something else that gets everyone riled up. So that probably had something to do with it as well. So I wouldn't look at any of this stuff here. The Davos comments. Did you ever watch Game of Thrones?
Yes.
That's all I think of is the Sir Davos. That's all I can think of when I hear this. So the Davos comments, the Redfin report, I wouldn't worry about too much here. And I would make sure that your agent, if you're a consumer listening right now, is giving you options. I think that's really important, especially when it's things like lending and other stuff. Contractors, I think you got to be a little more careful because there's so many bad contractors out there. And it's not everyone can get out there and do the job and all that stuff. So we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. We've got Crozier Hospital news, a new luxury development right in your neck of the woods in Radnor Township, Sarah. I'm curious I want to see what you think of this floor plan here, or this site plan, I should say. And Limerick Township, this data centers in the news again. Now there's a land swap on the table. We'll tell everyone what all this stuff means for their housing needs in Delaware County along the main line or out in Montgomery County next on Toole Time Real Estate Radio on WWDB 860 AM.
Looking for a mortgage in the greater Philadelphia area. And by that, I really mean Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, even Florida.
Right.
Look no further. You can
This
visit
development looks kind of funny.
the team at Cross Country Mortgage.
I really like jamming this in. It's like right in like North Wayne.
Yeah. So these are
Single,
single
but they got like an alleyway and stuff. The price is probably going to be insane on these.
Outrageous.
Homes are starting at 2.8 million, like 7,500 square foot lots. You're just buying a new home. That's what you're doing here.
Right. Yeah, you're not getting. There's no yard.
Like, could you imagine? Like, you live. I would be like, there's nothing there.
Right.
Where you hang out?
Right.
We are right behind you. That is me, DJ Sutera, and my business partner, Kyle Sutera. We've got you covered.
Probably I'll sell too.
Subject credit approval, NMLS 3029, NMLS 1390366, NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
The Tom Toole Sales Group is the #1 RE/MAX team in Pennsylvania with over
I'm gonna pull these listings up,
$165
too.
million in volume for 2021. I'm Tom Toole, and our team has achieved
Just take
that
Liam
kind
out
of
in the snow. Did he
success by
make
being
it?
a great
Just
No.
like threw him in. Just like,
and to work for.
I did.
No one knows
He,
great feeling better
I wouldn't take an infant out of it because it gets sick. Like, I mean,
More
that's
importantly,
Yeah.
you're real
Oh my gosh.
people.
like the last thing you need.
Dude, and I think so. Maddie is like always some level of sick, and then I got sick like a couple days ago. I'm like, I think I like sound better today, but
Now that you mention it, your voice is like a little raspy.
yeah. And then Eric started to get it, and then Liam. I don't know if he was mocking me or if he
I hope it was
actually was
mocking
like
you.
coughing. But like this morning, like I was coughing, and then he goes, and I was like, "Are you mocking me right now?" Like,
That's incredible.
Or visit tomtoole.com. That's
Mocking the parents fits right into the Toole family household.
Sell
That's
your
for
home for
sure.
more,
Right.
and remember the real estate golden rule. You always get more when you work with Tom Toole. I'm Tom Toole of the Tom Toole
I went to,
Sales Group RE/MAX main
went to a
line.
dive
If
bar
you're
on
thinking
Friday
of
night.
becoming a
Ooh,
real
that's
estate
So wait,
agent in the
look,
greater Philly
it's
area,
right on
I have
Lancaster
a
Avenue. That place,
special
Roach and
offer for
O'Brien's.
you.
You ever see it? Like,
Our team did
I've driven by it like a million times. It's like,
Yeah.
I never went there. And
making us
these guys I know in the
number
neighborhood,
one
let's go
Remax
here.
team
And
in
I'm like, all right.
Pennsylvania
That's
and a top
fun.
1% team
I
nationally.
was,
Our
the amount of times
agents love
driven
us
by that
because we
place,
offer them a successful career,
I
a
was
great life, and an unbeatable culture.
not expecting
Agents
to,
who've been with us for at least a year average 30
I
plus
got
sales.
1,
Even our brand new agents average 17 to 24
2,
sales a year. We offer proven systems and expert training. We help you set more appointments and sell more houses. Now, here's the offer. If you don't have a real estate license yet, we offer real estate scholarships so you can get one for free.
and Leo went to
Check
his
it
nerd
out at
competition all day.
realestatescholarshipprogram.com or visit the
How did you do?
He came in first place. Like, this kid's
Mainline
genius.
at
I don't know where he
Nice.
gets it from.
Wait, was it the Rubik's Cube thing?
No, dude, that was the most strange day of my life. Like, I'm glad he's not, like, there was like adults there and stuff too. Like, it was like, that was like way weirder.
Oh my God.
This was like for kids. He had to go out to like Downtown STEM.
And what did they do?
He did a podcast. Actually, listened to our
Okay.
radio show. He's like, Dad, I got some ideas. And I'm like, good. I'm like, I do this every week. Like,
Bring him on.
well, he's got school, but. All right. Welcome back to Toole Time Real Estate Radio on WWDB 860 AM. I'm Tom Toole. She's Sarah Timon. We both work at the Tom Toole Sales Group at RE/MAX Mainline, the number one RE/MAX team in Pennsylvania since 2018. And there is a lot of local news here, despite these snowy conditions, everyone's shutting down for a couple days. Crozier Hospital plans are now revealed, which I think is really important. We talked a little bit about this last week. There's a new luxury development in Radnor Township, and Limerick Township has people going. They're getting a little upset about this land swap that's on the table. We'll explain what that means next. It's related to the data center. So if you get some value out of this, or you like what you hear, make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications. And if you want to schedule a call with Sarah to talk about your real estate needs, you can do that with the link right in the comments. So we've got this Crozier Hospital news. And to me, this is probably some of the biggest news for people in Delaware County in a while, because Crozier Hospital, it's in Upland Borough, down in Delaware County, right outside of Chester. And it was purchased for $10 million last year. And, the people were very concerned because the hospital got shut down after Taylor Hospital got closed. I mean, there's not a lot of hospital care in Delaware County right now, except for Riddle. And there's the company called Chariot Equities purchased the hospital. They closed on Wednesday of last week, and they're going to be opening the first phase of the restored hospital within 2 years. And really, the plan that they have here is to open emergency services and, really to, be able to service the area again. This was a major concern for a lot of people, and it obviously serves a lot of folks in that part of the region. What do you think about this, Sarah? I mean, 2 years is a long time, but I'd imagine the hospital probably got closed for a reason in the first place. So, what do you think about this? I mean, what's your reaction to the news here? At Crozier Hospital is going to be, restored and reopened along with emergency services.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, I think that while 2 years does feel like a long time, for the amount of work that I'm sure they're going to have to put into this and all of the things that are going to have to get done, I don't think that there would be any possibility of this being like a 8-month turnaround.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that they typically also want to be careful about giving timelines that are too hard to hit.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully if they're saying, within 2 years, they're able to work through it and get it done in time.
Yeah, and so Mainline Health has been in discussions about reopening the emergency services, along with like Taylor Hospital and Springfield Hospital, which we talked about. To not have a hospital care in Delaware County, it's one of the most populated counties in the state, and you've got Riddle Hospital, and that's really it, and that's in like northern Delaware County. This can be a problem, and having sustainable healthcare access is really something that's important. So I think this is a relief for the region, number one. And he's I mean, when you see this stuff is actually happening, I'm glad it got purchased by somebody that's going to do that, because this very easily could have been purchased by somebody who has no intention of reopening the hospital,
right,
and restoring the services here. So this is going to create a lot of jobs. I mean, if you look at the size of Crozier Hospital, it's not an insignificant hospital here. Like Springfield Hospital is was like a smaller hospital. It's kind of like Roxborough Hospital, like it's there, but it's not the same size. So it would help if I could type in this appropriately. Here we go. So I mean, Crozier Hospital, it has 302 to 424 beds. So that's a big hospital. And they handled 53,000 emergency department visits annually before it got shut down. So that's a lot of care that needs to be delivered. So to me, this is excellent news for everyone in Southern Delaware County. Obviously, if someone new comes in, they're going to have to comply with today's standards for hospitals. So big win for everybody here, and I think it's actually a win for the other people that provide healthcare, like Mainline Health and these other hospitals,
Right,
because
that are probably being overwhelmed
they're
by
strained. Yeah,
for sure.
so that's really great news here. It's going to create a lot of jobs. There's going to be, I mean, I would imagine more people move to the area if they're going to be able to work there. So a lot of good stuff happening there. Great news for everyone in that neck of the woods. So before we get to this land swap in Limerick, this is very controversial. There was a luxury home community. Hold on. Excuse me.
Bless you.
Thanks. It's that time of year, right? I cover my mouth. Don't worry. So Rockwell Development in Media, they are building over 24 multi-million-dollar homes on the Radnor estate of the late Campbell Soup heiress Dodo Hill Hamilton. Her real name's Dorrance, according to the Philadelphia Business Journal. And they closed a sale last week for 3.5 acres of the estate for just under $5 million. Look at this floor plan here, Sarah. They're going to be building 29. They're calling them neo-traditional design homes called...
On 3.5 acres?
Yeah.
Whew.
Well, and wait, there's more. They're going to be 7,500 square foot lots. So that's pretty small. Let's look at the percentage of what that is relative to an acre. I got to do the math here. Luckily, they teach you how many square feet are in an acre. This is 1,700ths of an acre lot. So very small. And they're going to start at $2.8 million. First one's going to be complete in 2027. And they're starting work in the summer. You don't live far from here.
Yeah.
So what do you think about this number one? I mean, the site plan on this is wild.
They are jammed in there. But I mean, I bet people will buy them. You're not getting any outdoor space. You're basically, like, the house seems to take up pretty much the entire lot.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I guess if you're somebody who, there certainly are people who want a lot of house and they don't want the upkeep of a yard. So you wouldn't really have to worry about that here. Yeah, those are tight on those lots though.
So, I mean, there's a couple things. I agree with you. Like, I mean, and new construction, you got to be careful here because new construction is like buying a new car. You're paying a premium for this. And these lots, I mean, it looks like I think there's a clubhouse here, but I'm not entirely sure on that one kind of corner property they built in there. But and yeah, I mean, some of these have an alleyway entry. You're not even coming through the front door. I don't know that would really get me too excited at 2.8 million. Some of these are going to be narrower homes. Some are going to be larger. Now, I don't blame the builder for maximizing the lots.
Right.
I don't think there's any problem with being a capitalist. I mean, that's what these people do. Rockwell is a very well known company. When I look at where this is going to be located, I mean, it's right at the northwest corner of Eagle Road and Stratford Avenue. So the location is pretty killer. I mean, you're right by downtown Wayne there, and that you're probably paying for that as much as anything else. Especially being in that part of Wayne, that's right by the train station and everything else. So that's a really great location. It's not totally walkable, but you're like kind of like you go up Eagle Road, you go down West Avenue, you're right at the train station. So it's pretty close there. It's almost like if you know where the intersection of Conestoga and Eagle come in. If you were going on the north side of Lancaster Avenue there, it's behind the DeBruno brothers, the new Johnny's Pizza. Shout out to our guest, Johnny. You're by White Dog. So you're buying the location here. I think that's what's pretty clear. It's probably closer to go to the Stratford train station anyway. So that's important. I don't know that a lot of people spending 2.8 million want that small of a lot. I mean, what's your reaction to that?
Right. I mean, I would definitely you're paying for the location. I don't think that they would be able to have, that price of a home with like the sizes that they're going to build them on that small of a lot anywhere. I mean, like some other places, but like you're clearly it's the location that's kind of driving everything. I guess maybe they're thinking, if you've got young kids or anything like that, you'll be walkable to get to other places where they maybe wouldn't need just like a backyard. But yeah, I feel like that's a 2.8 and no backyard. To start. That's a tough. I don't think I would want some yard.
And if you look at what's active on the market right now, I mean, there are not many homes available in Radnor Township anyway.
Right.
I mean, Radnor is specifically, but Lower Merion, True Dufferin, Easttown, the main line doesn't have a ton of inventory. The homes available between 2.7 and 2.99 million, they're all new construction, and they're kind of like spec homes, right? So they're like, there's one on Highfield Road, it backs up right to 476. You got one on Oak Terrace, which is between like Conestoga Road and Radnor Chester, a little further east. That's 4,600 square feet. That's at 2.99 million. And then there's a place on Ferriston Road right by the Valley Forge Military Academy. That's about 4,900 square feet. So there's definitely a market there for that. I mean, people are going to buy them because you're buying you can't get a better location. There's going to be a demand for that, and I would imagine like Relo especially, like that could be very appealing to a lot of folks. So it's exciting. I think this is kind of what you get with new construction. I don't think this is a surprise here. You get typically a small lot, unless you're doing like a custom build or something like that. And I mean, there's not a lot of new construction developments that exist in Radnor Township, and this is part of the problem with inventory around here because this is what you're getting. They're maximizing their profits there. I got no issue with that. I think it's a smart move for the builder. But besides that, I mean, that's kind of what's out there right now. So, and you're getting a great location. Like if you want to walk around, you want to be in downtown Wayne, this is the spot to go to.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
And Rockwell knows what they're building. So I think that's I mean, you're getting a well-built home for sure. So before we get to these new listings here, and this is probably the most controversial topic that we're dealing with, Limerick. We talked about this last week that there's a piece of land between the nuclear power plant and the Philadelphia Premium Outlets. This is probably the opposite of the ideal location that we just talked about. I mean, would you buy a home between the outlets and the nuclear power plant here, Sarah?
I don't know.
So what's happened now is there's a proposed swap. This is interesting. It's like a land swap. It's like a trade, right? You're trading baseball cards with your friends or, a Major League Baseball player or something like that. Limerick Town Center, LLC, is trading more than 600 acres across 3 counties to the state. So this is a trade with the state for a 55-acre parcel of Pennsylvania state game lands and the land, borders, and industrial tract the company already owns. These game lands, where they're located, I'm going to pull up the map here. So it's right by like the Schuylkill Trail and everything else. So I mean, they're asking, so they're trying to trade these other pieces of land that they own. Hold on here. It's very interesting, and there's a lot of opposition here because of this data center that's been proposed. Now, they haven't formally proposed it yet, but everyone's talking about it. And township officials are saying they were only recently made aware of the proposal and emphasize that any future development still requires local zoning and land use approvals. What do you think about that? I mean, 600 acres across 3 counties is pretty wild here. I mean, this is not insignificant.
Wait, so they own the 600 acres and
Yes.
They want to swap that out in exchange for 55 acres where they want it.
Yes.
And then I guess, and that the 55-acre parcel borders the industrial tract. So, I mean, in that case, maybe you would get less pushback for building the data center because you're already by industrial.
Apparently, the residents are not happy with this.
They don't like it either way.
I don't think they want the data center at all, is what
Yeah.
I'm kind of, it's been kind of a flashpoint across Montgomery County. where here's what they're concerned about. Traffic. This is like number one. Anytime any development gets proposed, traffic is like the number one complaint.
Mhm.
I think traffic sucks wherever you go in the greater Philadelphia area.
Sure.
I mean, like,
Yeah.
it's not getting any better.
Yeah.
Energy use, water demand, and loss of open space. So, like, I don't know what they're using this open space for between the outlets and the power plant. Like, is there a park there? Is that where the kids
Right.
go and hang out? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for open space and preserving open space, but in areas that people would want to use it or where it's like beneficial for, I don't know, like the local animal populations. Like,
I guess.
so if there's really not much going on in this area, you know, and if it's kind of already out there near some other, you know, power plant, industrial sites and stuff, I feel like it would almost make sense to just put the data center there and have everything that people don't want all in one place.
Well, what's interesting about I mean, I agree. I think it makes sense, and you know, when you look at the idea about this, I mean, where else would you want to put the data center, right? I
Right.
mean, it's not like you want to put these things in like residential neighborhoods or anywhere else. And I mean, you know, data is something that's constantly getting used all the time. I mean, this is just part of, and they just had the same thing happen in Conshohocken. So now what they're talking about is the state game lands. They're talking about 600 acres across 3 counties. So what the game lands do, and I think this is important, is the game lands. It's for hunting, right? It's to provide habitat for like wildlife and opportunities for hunting and trapping, and they're funded by state licenses. So for people that want that, right now, I know some people are going to oppose hunting and all that stuff, and this is all legal. They're not doing anything illegal here. They're talking about giving them 600 acres. I mean, that seems like a pretty good trade to me. Like, I would take the 600 acres.
Right.
And I don't know how many animals are kind of hanging out around there, but that's a source of revenue from the state. I mean, you can charge for licenses. There's limitations on how many of these things you can actually, how many animals you can hunt a year. Like, you get up to like a certain amount. I don't hunt, by the way. Do you hunt?
No.
You a big hunter?
I'm not.
I didn't think so. I don't think Eric is either.
No.
So, but what they do is, so there's a limit on what you can do, and a lot of people talk about the deer population around
Right.
here, and I mean that is dangerous, like when you're
Sure.
driving around. So, it's going to be lawful hunting and trapping, and they have maps throughout the entire state of what you can do. I mean, there's hundreds of these places. So, to me, it's a way the state could probably make some more money. You could maybe tax this a little more. I'm curious what they're using these 600 acres for now. They're probably not doing anything with them.
Right.
So if you want open space, I mean, take the trade. Now, I get why people in Limerick don't want it, because it's like the not in my backyard sort of mentality here,
Sure.
which is part of the problem. And so there was like a long hearing. This is like the same thing happens every time. There's a big hearing. Everyone gets upset. After hours of commenting from the public, the board voted to send a letter opposing the deal to the Pennsylvania Game Commission. So do you think this thing's going to get approved? That's my question.
I think it will.
I agree with you. I think this is happening no matter what. And it's just, there's job creation, there's other things here. So I don't think it's a bad thing this is happening, but this is people are ticked.
Yeah. No, I think it will happen.
I think some folks just don't like the idea of their backyard getting developed, but then anywhere else it's fine.
Sure.
All right, we got some new listings coming up here, Sarah. You want to take the lead on any of these here? We got 4 killer new listings coming to the market this week. They're all going to be available for showings on Friday and Saturday by appointment. We do have some open houses. You want to take the lead?
Sure. We've got one here on Rupert Road in Pottstown. This is a 4-bedroom, 3.5 bath, single family home with close to 4,000 square feet, built in 2005, and it's being offered at $875. Let's see. And that is hitting the market on the 30th.
So this is a pretty nice property. Like you said, it's about 4,000 square feet. It's got a full acre. It's in Pottstown in Lower Pottsgrove Township, and the floor plan here is super wide open. very modern home. It's got a 3-car garage. You walk in, the whole thing's opened up, hardwood floors throughout the first floor, big breakfast room in the back, tons of windows in the back of the home. It is a nice looking property.
Is there a
And
golf course right there?
it looks like there may be a golf course. There is. You're absolutely right. So I don't golf, Sarah, so I don't really know what the golf course is, but it backs up to the golf course. Let's see here. Doesn't tell us what golf course that is. Well, I'm sure we can find out. But the point is, so this is and this is right off Rupert Road and like Sanatoga Road in Lower Pottsgrove. This is a nice looking place, and that's going to be available. We're showing this one by appointment. So if you want to get in there, you would need to. You can click on the link in the comments. And we can get an appointment set up for you. I mean, an incredible property, and you're right on about the golf course.
Awesome.
So the next one we got here. This is 1454 Watson Road in Fulcroft. This is in Southeast Delco School District. And this property is a 3-bed, 2-bath, 1,200 square foot cape. This place is in mint condition. It's 1,200 square feet, very private yard. It's got a huge detached garage, 1/4 acre lot. That's coming to the market at $240,000. This whole thing's been redone. You can move right into this place here. And it's very close to public transportation and the high speed line down in like the Sharon Hill Fulcroft area. 240. That is going to have 2 open houses. There's one on Saturday, 2 to 4. We have one on Sunday, 2 to 4 as well, weather permitting. So this is to get more snow this weekend.
Oh boy. Oh my gosh. Well, then the next one that we've got coming up here is on Eldon Ave in Drexel Hill. This is a twin. It's a 3-bed, 1.5 bath, a little under 1,300 square feet, colonial. It's the list price here is $269, and it is going to be active on the market on Friday. It doesn't look like we have any open houses for this one.
Yeah, that's going to be by appointment as well. And $270 in Drexel Hill. I mean, this is a great value here. So, and the last listing we have coming to the market is going to be over at 5940 Latona Street in Philadelphia. So this is a 3-bed, 2.5 bath, 1,384 square foot row home, asking $298,000. And this is a full rehab. I mean, this place is in great shape. You look at, I mean, the inside's got nice custom woodwork. They got a gas fireplace that's built in, big open floor plan, new kitchen. This is a nice looking property. And it's all redone, new bathrooms, you name it. This house has it. $298,000, 5940 Latona Street. This is right off of Baltimore Pike and Baltimore Ave. And
your taxes are only like $2,000
Yeah.
for the year.
What a deal.
Yeah, that's nice.
It's going to be like 100 times that at the new homes in Radnor Township. So be ready. So that can be shown by appointment as well. You can schedule appointments for any of these with Sarah. Just click on the link in the comments. We'll be back next week. Hopefully there's no more snow. If you want to follow Sarah, she's at Ty_Time, TY_TYTIME on Instagram. You can follow me at Tom Toole 3RD. And that's all we got for this week's episode of Toole Time Real Estate Radio on WWDB 860 AM.
All right.